Hi, everyone. I'm so sorry about that. Let's start over. Can you hear me now? So sorry. I did something really stupid. I'm not even tell you what it was. So, can you hear me now, kids?
Do you have any questions about what?
I think it's okay now. All right, let's get going. I'm so sorry about that.
The detective just said. Okay, you understand that if you don't know the answer to a question, it's okay to say, I don't know. If you don't understand the question, it's okay to say, I don't understand the question. Could you repeat it? All right? The most important thing is that you give truthful information, which I know you will. You don't guess.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience with my foggy brain. It's good to see you, tennis girl. Turn it on. Turn it on. I should be live now, and you should be able to hear. And this is again Luis Rivera's proffer from 2016. By popular demand, I was going to go through the. I gave you guys a couple of options, and this is what you chose. So this is cool. And I've been doing some shorts already on it. It is not very easy to hear, so I think it's a good thing to go through step by step. So just to start out, the person speaking right now, as I hit the pause button, is the person who in this picture is to Luis's right, and that's Chuck Taylor, his attorney. And the person whose back is to us in this picture is Detective Isom of the Tallahassee PD. Two Isoms left, and it's not in this picture, is the FBI agent Sanford. And then to his left at the head of the table opposite Luis and Isom is Monica, who is the PI, and she does mitigation, and she helped get him his deal. So am I going to provide any snark? Heck yeah. Are you? Although I'm not gonna, I tend not to get as snarky about Luis, but for sure. No, this is the one that I'm playing here is uninterrupted. So tonight we're going to interrupt, and we're going to do this in a 4-part series so we can interrupt as much as we want. We love snark. Okay. And I know a lot of people don't like the way Chuck Taylor, the attorney, is sitting there, but he looks comfy and relaxed and confident, and I'm okay with it. So, all right. So they're doing the preliminaries, and let's get started. So this is like, sorry, I talked earlier and you couldn't hear me. This is almost 2 hours. So I'm going to do this in a 4-part series, try to get through a half hour per night. So let's see what we can do here. And I think I'll go on tonight. I have my other podcast tomorrow night, which is about football. And then I'm Friday, which is my normal night for you guys. And then probably Saturday, if I can handle it. My throat is I'm still on cough medicine, but we'll see. I think I can do it. We'll see.
Yes. If you need time to think about something, that's okay. If you intentionally tell a story or you give a statement that you know is not truthful, not only will you have committed a crime of perjury, which is really the least of your concerns, the most important thing is you will no longer have a deal. Okay? All right, now we do know that.
And I just want to, hopefully you could hear what the recording is saying, but that was Luis's attorney reminding him that he just needs to be truthful. He doesn't need to provide information that isn't there. He doesn't need to step up and try to get the ball. Just just answer the questions when the ball is thrown to him. And why? Because if he says one false statement, his entire deal goes away. Okay. This proffer gave him really the ability to serve out whatever he would have been sentenced with for his role in the murder of Dan Markel, to be basically, he served his time for that concurrently with the RICO charges. So he didn't get any extra time. It was 19 years. He was going to be in prison anyway. So he was definitely rewarded for offering the truth. And thankfully he did, because, you know, had he not done this, had his attorney and Monica and those involved, you know, Detective Isom and Sanford, not brought it to this situation, who knows where we would be right now. Oh, good. I'm glad the audio is great. So Tennis Girl says, the only thing bothers me about Louis' testimony is not remembering why they didn't do the deed the first time. Well, if we listen really carefully, and I'm starting to do shorts because I'm like, this is something I've been wanting to do for years. I'm going to leave it to you guys when we get to this, but we'll address it when we get to the confusion about why they didn't do it. I think to some degree, he has admittedly memory issues, because he said they were drinking. He said they were smoking pot the whole way. That's 8 hours of, and he said, and you'll hear it real quickly right now, coming up, that he was already drinking before Sigfredo came and got him in the rental car. So what that would do to his memory is one thing. And then also, as you probably know from the rest of his testimonies that we've seen since, and this proffer, he didn't want to kill Dan Markel. And I believe that some of his memory could be a little bit selective. I don't think he's lying, and I don't think it's going to substantially change the case in this. So let's listen really carefully, if you understand what I mean, and see what you guys think.
That you have immunity. So, you know, the things that they've asked about you that they haven't got independent of you, they couldn't use against you. You understand that? But that.
So, by the way, just the reason I mentioned that about the immunity, any immunity, whether it's state granted customary immunity that you get with a subpoena, or this kind of immunity that was basically negotiated for, requires the truth, no matter who you are. So you lie, and that whatever immunity you have, and for whatever reason you have it, it's gone. And this is real heavy and real important.
That ain't the deal. The deal is we want to tell the truth and do what's right. Yes, you understand? That's the point. All right, I don't have any further questions in that regard. And the statement's is being recorded? Yes.
Louis, the first time that you had a conversation, let me start this because I want to make sure I'm Daniel Markel before this occurred. No.
Speak up loud.
Think if I heard about him?
Did you ever hear of him?
No, not at all.
Never heard of him? Never knew anything about him?
No, sir.
So this is the first point that Detective Isom wants to establish. Did Luis know who Dan Markel was? Had he ever heard of him before this conspiracy to do a murder for hire? And that, you know, step one, that was the first thing he said. And I don't think there's any evidence or anyone who suggests that Luis knew Dan Markel for any reason other than what he will tell us here. And I'll Be the Judge is mentioning a article from the doc. The doc, who's the DOC? At some point, it's Rich. Send me the link. I'll Be the Judge, and we'll do it for sure. Who's the doc? Article from the doc. Okay, let me know what that is. I want to know. Right. And so it's insignificant details. A lot of things, yeah, he might have turned around the details a little bit here and there, but are they important would they change anything? And I'll Be the Judge says Luis Rivera's immunity deal is what Wendy wished for and thankfully did not get, of course. But she could have gotten it, and if she lied, it would have gone away anyway. But yes, she. Op-ed I didn't read that, by a doctor. Ooh, I missed it. I was doing other things today. Believe it or not, I do other things. Although I am obsessed. Okay. I want to see that. I'll check it out. Maybe I'll bring it up if you'd like after we do a half hour. If we get to a half hour, maybe I'll just bring it up here and we'll read it together.
No one's ever mentioned that name before.
No, sir, not at all.
What about Wendy Adelson?
Not at all either.
Anybody else by the last name of Adelson?
No, sir.
Okay. When's the first time, if you can recall, when you first understood that you were going to come to Tallahassee? Because my understanding is you've never been to Tallahassee before.
Never been up here.
Okay. What was the circumstances of the first that caused you to come to Tallahassee the very first time?
I thought the first time I was coming up here, I thought we were going to come here and rob somebody. You know? So when I get in the car, that's when Garcia told me, what we coming up here for?
Okay. So let's make this clear here. He's saying that he just assumed, let's just put it that way, that they were going to come up to Tallahassee to rob someone. And he didn't find out until Sigfredo laid it out in more detail.
I'm going to kill somebody.
So before you got in the car, you had a conversation with Sigfredo Garcia,
In my house.
Tudo,
Yeah.
at your house, and he says he wants you to go with him to Tallahassee
Yeah.
to do a drug robbery,
My understanding when he was talking to me, first I thought it was going to be like a robbery.
just a robbery.
I thought it was going to be a simple robbery. But then as we kept going on talking about it, that's when he told me, listen, I got to come up here for a job. I'm finna get hired. We're getting hired, but to kill somebody.
So this is when he says, listen, I got to come up here for a job. He's quoting Sigfredo. Listen, I got to come up here for a job. I'm fixing to get hired to kill someone. Okay, that's what he just said.
And you already left, or is that before you?
No, I was still in my house.
Okay.
I rented a car. We got in the car, and he told me, nobody, like, you gonna come out here. I'm gonna kill this guy. You're gonna get paid this much, $35,000. So I looked at him, I said, it's a little bit of money, but all right, whatever, let's drive. We driving. He showed me a picture of Markel. That's the first time I seen a picture of him, and I heard about his name. So he told me his name. This is the guy we're gonna go see. His name is Markel. I don't need the name. Forget about the name because I'm not gonna remember the fucking name. Just show me the picture. I just seen the picture and I looked at it. I drove up here. Come up here the first night. We went to the hotel.
I hate to interrupt you, but I do. I want to make sure we're talking about the first trip.
The first trip.
And you rented the car?
No, the car was not under my name.
Okay. Is it a rental car? Or is
It was a rental car.
a rental car. Who rented the car?
It was Garcia. He came with the car.
He came with the car.
He came with the car.
To your place?
He came. I was in my homegirl's house.
Who's that?
Rochelle. He picked me up and I left. You know, he like, yo, what's up? Boom.
So he called you and said, I'm going to get you.
The story, he already told me the story. He rented a car and came to pick me up that same day.
Okay.
He's like, yo, I'm on my way. He picked me up, I got in the car, I left, went to my house, changed up, got in the car, and we drove.
Okay.
It was like a Wednesday night. I think Wednesday. It was Wednesday.
You knew that the purpose of him renting the car was to drive to Tallahassee with it?
Yes, sir.
So he'd already told you, I'm going to rent a car, or he shows up and says, I've rented a car.
No, he said, I gotta rent a car. He ready to rent a car. He said, I'm gonna go rent a car, I'll be back later.
So you knew that the story, the first version, is that you're coming up here to rob somebody, he's going to go rent a car.
Yeah.
So this is important because Detective Isom is establishing with Luis Rivera that Luis Rivera knew that the reason they were using a rented car was that they were going to commit a crime. He, of course, said it. He thought it was a robbery at first. When he figures that out, we don't know. I think we can speculate a lot about that, but I think there's a lot of pretty convincing testimony. And even in the proffer, which we'll see later, that Luis really was not down for murdering someone. I think my opinion is he probably thought that he could talk Sigfredo out of it. And a lot of people don't talk about that too much. Hi, T. Cancella. Hi, TC. I call you TC now. Hello, Gerard. It's nice to see you. We're going through Luis Rivera's proffer upon popular demand. So here we go. We're very much in the beginning, so you're here just in time. It's nice to see everyone.
But it changed to murder before or after he rented the car.
Well, before he rented the car, remember who was in the house speaking about it?
I just gotta be down there and get it off.
I don't want you to get me confused and throw me back and forth.
Exactly, I'm not trying to.
So I want to be straight up.
Detective Isom, do you care if I might ask a question that I think may help?
Hello, Marina. Munira. Am I saying your name properly? Munira is such a beautiful name. Munira Sultana. So pretty. Whoop! Yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it. Okay.
Not right now. I just
No, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, I'm fine right now.
And I definitely want him to go through the whole story, but I'm afraid if we get too far down the road,
I
and
get
there's
it.
the fact that
I agree.
that's all.
When things don't make sense or add up, we got to stop and get to it. Okay. How long was it? You said you initially thought that this was going to be a robbery. What gave you that idea? Why did you think it was going to be a robbery?
I'm a jack boy.
Okay.
I said I rob drug dealers.
Okay. So he was.
Okay. So again, so this is where Chuck Taylor helps Luis, because no doubt Chuck listened to Luis's story prior to the proffer, right? If he was a good attorney, he would have heard what he had to say. And so he's drawing out questions that Isom might have missed. Why did Luis assume it was a robbery? Because that's all he's ever done. And we're going to hear him say he's never killed a person before. David, hi. Donna is so old. Her birthday cake looked like a party fight. Oh God, we're doing Donna joke. Hi, you guys like my mother-in-law jokes? You guys, I am not at all a joke teller. I just thought until her arraignment, we should do mother-in-law jokes. I love it, David. I love your humor. Okay, T. Wonder how many times a day Agent Sanford is replaying the look on Donna and Harvey's face in the jetway when he, oh my gosh, when he said you are under arrest. I don't know about you guys, but I do picture that whole scene. And since the FBI was involved, I doubt if we'll ever see body worn camera, but maybe we will see that play out. David, Charlie owned a sausage. Okay, he sent you a link. Okay. All right, let's go.
He was talking in terms of a job in Tallahassee.
So I'm thinking we finna go, okay, boom. But then he's like, man, it's not that. I'm finna go kill somebody. We're gonna get hired.
Okay.
So he said, man, it's not like that. We're gonna go kill somebody. I'm fixing to get hired. So the way that Luis is conveying this information seems very natural, and he, in my opinion, again, he knew before he even got in the car what it was. He probably was in disbelief. He probably thought he had some control, that maybe he could talk him out of it. Maybe he didn't believe what he heard. But he's just there with his bestie, which is really bad. Like, if you're listening to this, kids, if somebody asks you to jump off a cliff, as they say, you don't have to say yes, even if it's your best friend.
And this was before he went and rented the car.
Before he rented the car.
Okay, so when he got the car, it was either in his name or somebody else's name.
I don't know whose name was it, but he came with the car to he came with the car to my homegirl's house. I was there drinking that night. I jumped in the car, went home.
What kind of car was it?
It was like a black.
So again, he's saying, I was already at my homegirl's drinking before he even got in the car. So Luis Sigfredo came over and laid this on him, took off, went to get the car, and then came back to pick him up. Good point. I'm not sure which point, but okay, which point? Yeah, so, you know, you got to put yourself, I feel like, you guys, I'm probably not the most popular person sometimes, because I have empathy even for people who commit crimes. I don't think even though we yak it up here and make jokes and stuff, it's really a serious situation. And I feel even for people who are committing the crimes, because they are humans. So yeah, I like to put myself in someone else's shoes to the extent that I can. It's like, yeah, it just seems to me that's how Luis is coming off. Of course, you wouldn't present that in a court of law or anything, but just my personal point of view, which is why we're here. T says, too bad if there's no body camera. Oh, there's body camera. I just don't know. There's video, but I just don't know that we're going to see it. But still, Sanford could replay that. Yes, in his own mind, for sure. For sure. Oh, you're giving me an idea. Actually, that would be a little bit technically, I mean, not that I couldn't do it, but it would take me some time. But I bet the society page could do it. Just because I do more basic things. Okay. Yeah. And thank you, Munira, because I think it's important to do that. And even though I feel kind of bad sometimes because I laugh about things like, I think June's, I made some videos about June's testimony. I didn't assign anything to it that she didn't do. I just took her footage, but I do feel compassion. And I want to say, I've been thinking about June this last week. Like she's got to be hurting. She really loved Charlie, and there was probably a part of her that thought, this wasn't true. And she's lost a lot. She's lost a lot. I probably don't feel that same compassion for Donna and Wendy because they're just so incapable of having their own empathy toward others, but I definitely feel it. I felt like Charlie was a tool. They used him. He's no longer of use to the family. It's just it's just a tragedy. And when we have tragedy, if you follow theater at all, Shakespeare, then there's comedy is just the other side of that. So anyone who's offended by us laughing or giggling when we're talking about this, I'm not even going to say I'm sorry because you don't understand the relationship of comedy to tragedy, and you'll get it someday. Tennis girl. Yes. And then we think about how Ruth feels about how I can't even imagine how Ruth would feel. I know. Same here. I feel it all. I'm too much of an empath. Okay, let's go.
Nissan.
Okay.
It was a Nissan.
And what date was this, as best as you remember?
I don't remember the date, man.
Will you remember the month and the year?
The one had to be like either June or July.
Okay.
The year was 2014.
Okay. And he showed you a picture of Markel
Markel.
and said y'all were going to go kill him. Now, were you the one that he was intending to go do the murder, or why were you even involved?
Because he told me.
Why were you even involved? Like the $36 million question or whatever. Why did Sigfredo ask Luis to go with him? Did he? It's so strange. So strange. And I'll be the judge says, I agree about June. She was in a position none of us would ever want to be in, testifying against someone we love, and she still loves Charlie. Yeah, it does seem so. I think she's really got to be hurting right now. And I feel bad for everything. I mean, I try not to be too catty, but I'm not going to ever take back the videos I did that are just clips of her at the trial, because I just think she's funny, and I think she should be in Hollywood, quite honestly. She's got that kind of a Lucille Ball kind of super brilliant comedy to her, and I think she knows she's funny. I do.
He trusts me, so I trust you, and you're the only one I trust.
But were you the one he was hiring to do the murder? Because I don't understand why you need two people to commit a murder.
They were hiring him.
Okay.
They were hiring him. They were not hiring him. They were hiring him.
They were hiring him. This is so valuable. This is so important. Of course they were hiring him. Katie knew Sigfredo would do this for her, right? And I just feel like Katie, if anybody doesn't have redeeming qualities, it's almost, I don't know, I shouldn't say anyone, but yeah, they are still human. Everyone is human. Unless they have severe mental or brain, injuries or defects, they're as human as you and I. If I knew my ex murdered someone, I wouldn't love him anymore. Yeah, probably me too. I feel like maybe she's in denial. Do you think she's maybe in denial? still holding out hope that he really didn't do it, you know, because the Adelsons seem to be in denial and they seem to have people who believe them. Yeah, she did. She did. I'd love to hear from her. I would love to hear from her. And if I did, I would just be all ears. I would try not to say anything. You know, I would love to hear from June, but she probably needs some time. It's got to be really hard for her right now.
He said he's gonna pay me to go with him because he didn't want to go by himself.
Okay.
Was Rochelle present when you discussed this with him?
No, nobody. It was just me and him.
But it was at Rochelle's
No,
house.
it was at my house. He
Okay.
picked me up at Rochelle's house. I was drinking. Hey, where you at? I said, I'm over here.
He picked him up at Rochelle's house. And again, he said for the second time, I was drinking. Okay, Gerard says, and it looks like the Italian flag there. Is that the Italian flag? I'm sorry, I'm bad at flags. Or Mexican, I'm not sure. I could not feeling so much Shakespeare regarding this killing. I've been telling my friends this. Yes, I've been telling my friends too. Oops, I thought I had you up there. I've been telling my friends too, and they all think I'm crazy. They're like, what are you even talking about? What is wrong with you? If Sigfredo was staying as messed up as Luis Rivera, he could not have done this alone. In my opinion, he needed a driver. I think he needed his bestie. He honestly shouldn't have dragged someone else into it. It was such a, to me, it seemed like it was so off the wall, and Luis talks about it. It was all done for Katie on Sigfredo's side of things. Sigfredo just wanted to please Katie, which is really sad. Thank you. All of this. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Wouldn't that be great? That day, I tell you guys, we're drinking champagne all day on that one. I don't think June has a perfect morals. None of us do. June likely was emotionally abused by Charlie. Lots of put downs, coercive control, etc. And she uses denial as a coping mechanism, as well as his cheating too. I agree. Which I hope she eventually somebody helps her with that, because she could be fun.
So when he picked me up, I said, all right, let's go to my house. I'm finna go change. So I had on shorts, so I put on long pants and a long sleeve.
I just want to say again, it was such a big deal. It was so out of the ordinary. It's not something that Sigfredo wasn't a professional hitman. Luis wasn't a hitman. Like, he even said, I'm a jack boy. Like, dude, this was so out of the ordinary for both of them. He needed his best friend to go with him. It's really just, it really shows that they're human too. And that's in that sense. Yeah, I agree. Wendy is a whole different breed. There are certain people I won't, a lot of people don't realize this, but even God in the Bible doesn't forgive everybody for everything. I won't unless she comes clean and apologizes and shows remorse.
I said, all right, let's ride. In my car, and he drove on the passenger side. I was rolling a blunt, and we drove. I was drinking the whole night, going down. I said, when we got to Tallahassee, that way we need to rent the hotel.
Hold on.
So they were drinking the whole night.
Where was Rochelle living at the time that you picked you up?
By my house, right, like a block away from my house, on 135th on 16.
Okay, on 135.
135th on 16.
What time you left?
Like 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock at night.
At night.
Yeah.
Y'all drove through the night.
Yeah.
All the way through the night. You got here the next morning.
I got here like around like 6, 5 o'clock in the morning. I believe it was an 8-hour drive.
Okay. Y'all stop anywhere on the way?
Yeah, we stopped in like on a rest, like the rest area. Stopped at that, take a piss and keep on driving. That's about it.
Y'all get
We got
gas
gas,
anywhere?
yeah. We got gas and kept going.
How'd you pay for the gas?
Cash.
All cash?
Yeah, he got cash. They gave him like $5 grand, $2,000 in his pocket, and we kept it. We came up here and rented a hotel cash.
What was the hotel? Remember?
I forgot the name of that.
So this is where they got the detail that Sigfredo was given $5,000. He had $5,000 in his pocket. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed this in the most recent trial, Florida versus Charles Adelson, who, by the way, is no longer Dr. Charles Adelson. He had there was an emergency order that his medical license was revoked upon the guilty verdict. In any case, so I think he said he gave him gave Katie like a couple $100. Even that's like they are not giving in. They're not the people who so far have pled not guilty have not given an inch on these details. Yeah, I haven't been able. I saw Harvard lawyer Lee's coverage. I have not been able to find the space in my life, in my heart, in my emotions to watch the whole thing. I want to watch the whole proceeding. Yeah, I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure. Yeah, there are occasions in the Bible where that some certain people were not forgiven. Look it up. But we should for the most part, we should forgive. But it's when people turn themselves around.
Fine, you saw it. You said that's the first
That was the
place.
first hotel I took you to. That one. I stayed there twice. Came up here.
Okay, I don't want to jump ahead of y'all. At some time you meet some other people while you're up here.
Yeah. First we met some guy that night. He rented a hotel.
Was he a black gentleman?
Yeah, it was a crackhead.
Okay.
He was
Tell us about it. Tell us how that happened.
Yeah, Sigfredo pulled up. Hey man, what's up, man? I ain't got no ID, man. You do me a favor, rent the hotel. I'm gonna give you $20. Yeah. I'll take $20 right now. So he went, gave him $20, rented the hotel. We stayed that night. I think the room was 110 or 109.
Were y'all doing drugs in the room?
And just to make sure this is not right.
So isn't this interesting? He remembered that the room was $110 per night. He remembered so many details. It's quite interesting.
110 or 109, he's already driven us
Oh,
by,
I'm sorry, not 110. He said the room number.
and that is the budget on Wadsworth, Tennessee.
Okay.
Hi, Lorenzo.
Yeah, when I got to the room, we been drugs. We had powder, we had beer, but we had a bottle. We had a bottle in the pocket. We was drinking. We had a bottle. We was chilling all night. Well, I probably want to sleep at around 3. I woke up around 7 that morning. I think it was 7 o'clock the next morning.
Okay, this is where things get kind of deep. Yeah, we're doing well because the Packers had such a great victory in 2 games in 1 week, and looking forward to Sunday. Okay, guys, this is where I'm just going to play it through without interruption for a minute here, because this part is 2.5 minutes of really sad commentary on what explanation. Here we go.
But when we got there by that time, we slept for a little bit. We check out was at 11. We leave. Went by Markel's house. Went around him. Went straight to his house. I parked by the park like I showed you. I parked there for a little bit to see if he was gonna come out. When he came, I seen the car. I knew when I scoped the car. I'm like, yo, that's that guy right there. I seen a white male in the car. He's like, yeah, that's him. Let's follow him. So we followed him all the way to school. He got the kid off. Boom. I lost him. I guess he was going to the gym in that morning, but.
How do you know what kind of car he's driving?
Okay, I am going to interrupt you. I always do that. He said, how do you know what kind of car he's driving? But I would have wanted to ask, how did you know he was going to gym that morning? Is he just saying that because he then learned that later? Because he said, I guess he was going to the gym that morning. Or was he given on that paper he's talking about? Was he given that information about Dan's agenda or routine?
Because Sigfredo told me the car.
Sigfredo told you the car?
He said he got a black Nissan.
Okay.
No tints. You will see him. Because he already showed me the picture.
So Sigfredo supplied you a picture of Markel, which is the target, and has also told you a type of car that he drives.
Okay, and this is one place, one time, excuse me, my nose tickles. I'm touching my nose. I don't have a runny nose. I'm just ready to sneeze. Okay, so this is where Luis is starting to talk about this paper that of course, he couldn't read it, but he saw enough to know that it was a photograph of the person they were supposed to shoot, which is Dan Markel. But yeah, great question. I want to know. I want to know that part. He went right to, how did you know the car? But how did you know he was going to the gym? I would have loved that clarification right there. And they may have done clarification later that we don't know about, but I'm sure they did. They're a lot smarter than I am on this stuff. So, okay.
Does he tell you where that information came from?
No, sir. He just showed me a piece of paper with his name, and I believe that paper had that.
So, and so what I was saying is that was the one thing where Katie's so-called proffer, I don't know what that you can call what she did, but did come in. She did, for the first time, collaborate or give information about this piece of paper that Luis was talking about. So let's see, it's 2023. That was how many years later that we had to find out that this indeed was a thing that Luis said in 2016. Yes. 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 How did he know he was going to the gym? Now, knowing Luis, he was trying to put it all together for them. I would have loved for him to ask both questions, because the question he asked is also very good. But how did he know he's going to the gym? Maybe they just assumed because they followed him to the gym. But this was the first trip. This was the first trip. So Wendy's the plug.
Address. But I remember seeing his face, and so the paper had to have the address.
Was it typed or was it handwritten?
No, it's like that.
Typed?
When he said it was a Nissan, did he say it was a Nissan, or did he say it was a black 4-door or 2-door?
No, he told me it was 4-door Nissan.
Okay.
Just like the car we had, but just in black.
Okay.
Just like the car we had. So the first go around, and other people obviously know this, but if you're newer to the case or want some, affirmation, the first trip, or this trip in June, and some people are saying there might have been 3 trips, who knows, but he's talking about the first trip and in light of the second trip. But he's saying the first trip they got a car that was like Dan's, but only not black. So to what end? I would wonder, like, does that mean because Jeff's car was like Dan's, but not black, different color? Anyway, some of these details are not as strong as others that are brought up in the case. Like Georgia has guilty verdicts on so far on all of them. So she doesn't need to bring up details that are either, she knows what details she needs to bring to the fore, because there are a lot of details that we all know about and she all knows about, but isn't necessary for getting a conviction. Okay, Jennifer. Yeah. And so Jennifer, this is worth saying. Hi, Jennifer, by the way. I feel bad for people who show no remorse. And she's saying that June has no empathy for Dan or the Markels. So for that reason, she's not a fan of hers. She needs to put her feelings aside and do the right thing. I think she will. I think that's what I'm saying, is I think she's capable of that. And for whatever reason, I mean, some people are so afraid of stirring the pot or whatever. I don't care. But remember that comment she made? I think it might have been on 2020. She didn't want to be the reason he was convicted. Well, she's not. Her evidence and her testimony is not going to be the one that the testimony that makes a jury go one way or another, because she wasn't asked about details that are, so important to the case. But whether she saw a staple or not. But, I think some people are just afraid of stepping up, and it's not just, a lot of people are. I mean, I'm not one, but hey, Harley D, nice to see you. Oh my gosh, it never ends. I know, me too, but you guys asked for this, so that's why I'm here. So I'm blaming you.
Back up a little more, a little bit further. You said they gave him $5,000. Tell us about that. What did he say? Where did he get the money from?
Oh, he said he got the money from the lady. He still haven't told me the name yet. He said, I got the money from the lady. Well, his wife gave him the money. So Katie gave him the money. But he told me about the lady. He told me, yo, the lady got the money. She won't pay us. So, you know, all this driving around and talking to him about the money, I told him, we should just go rob her.
This is why I said what I said. I think he thought he could talk Sigfredo down from the tree he was up. Because Luis, throughout this proffer going forward, he talks about the hold that Katie had on Luis and his mentality, and that he wasn't thinking straight. And so I wouldn't be surprised if he thought he could talk him out of it. And I don't think it's a coincidence that he managed to be the one driving the car, because he really did not want to do this. Yeah, if we would just get, you know, we'd all be happy if we could just move on, right? Get on with our life. It's just ridiculous. The fact that they arrested Donna so quickly after Charles' guilty verdict is just like messing up with all of our schedules.
That was my intention. Fuck this guy. I don't got nothing against that guy. I don't even know that guy. Especially after he told me about what was it for the 2 kids. Told me because I asked him, why you want to kill this guy? Because the lady wants her 2 kids back. She wants full custody of them kids. Because he had all the custody. That was the plan. That was the deal.
The other thing I want to bring out is, in listening to this over and over again, and again recently, because in preparation for this, I want to say Sigfredo and Katie knew Luis, right? They knew, at least Sigfredo had known Luis since they were little boys, right? And Luis, they knew what made him tick. And Luis is telling in his proffer about these boys, and they knew he had a soft spot, that he cared about family. Do you think that Katie and Sigfredo basically gave Luis this story that Dan has full, because he's saying Dan has full custody and the wife and Wendy wants full custody. If Wendy wants them, did they give him this information to like incite him to do this? I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't put it past them. I'd like that question to be asked to Katie. Like, what did you tell Sigfredo about the actual custody situation? Because the way Luis is talking about it, he's talking about it like somebody who had some details, that they had an actual conversation. And the actual conversation doesn't reflect what was happening on the ground. Wendy didn't want full custody. Dan did not have full custody. That wasn't what this was. And so I'm just curious about that too. And hi, Gloria. Nice to see you.
That's what I went to go kill that man for.
How did Tuda know all this?
Katie, I guess Katie told him everything. Katie told him everything, and then that.
But you're just guessing that. You don't know that for sure. Do you?
No, that's for sure. For sure, Katie told him everything.
Right. How do you know that? How do you know Katie?
Because he's talking to Katie on the phone. Hey, babe, what's going on? Hey, the lady's gonna have, you sure she's gonna have the money on time? Tell her don't play with it, because the will show up in her house. Tell her she better have that fucking money. And he always kept telling her that.
Because when you went on this trip, were you with Tuda the whole time? Did y'all separate? Y'all were in the same car? Y'all stay in the same hotel room?
Never separated. Stay in the same hotel, different beds.
You were always with him?
Yeah.
So when he talked to Katie, you could hear him talking to Katie?
Of course.
And you knew it was Katie?
I'm right there.
I love this part where Chuck Taylor, Luis's attorney, pops in and starts asking questions. How he doesn't say, how do you know it was Katie? He's saying, were you in the hotel room? Did you share a hotel room? Did you hear all the conversations? And so he's bringing this out, helping Detective Eisen understand why Luis would be saying, I know this because Katie told him. And Gloria, hey Don, I feel like Sigfredo would be able to help a lot if he were to speak. Yeah. Yeah. And thank you for bringing that out, ironic. I believe that is somewhere back in my recollection as well. I am so forgetful. So that's great. I'm so glad you brought that out. When and where will they arrest Wendy? Okay, I have a question for you guys, even though it's off topic a little bit. Do you think she tries something stupid like Donna did, but only a much more sophisticated plan, or do you think she's going? Do you even think she's going to get indicted? I think she thinks she's going to get indicted, and I think she's going to be indicted personally, based on the evidence. It's just kind of common sense. You don't have to be an attorney to know that. But you think she'd make a run for it? You think she would put on a disguise? You know, I was trying to think today of some people in history who went on the lam basically under disguise for years and years and years, and then eventually got caught when they were like 90 years old. If you guys can help me with that, I thought there'd be some fun shorts I could do about that. All right, so yeah, she is one cold person, I think. My opinion.
Did you know it was Katie because of what he was saying, or could you actually hear her voice?
It's Katie. I can hear her voice.
And you had heard it before?
Yeah, I can hear Katie's voice. That's Katie.
How many years have you known Katie?
I know through the whole life, Katie probably like 5, 6 years, 7 years around. I don't know. Like Katie, I just met her because of Sigfredo. But I know Katie maybe like, well, they've been together for 10 years, but at that same time. And they've been together however long they've been together. I think it's 10 years.
So he's known Katie a long time as well.
That's how long I know her.
Luis, was there any coke usage in the hotel that night?
Yeah, every day it was cool.
But I'm talking about that night when you said some crackhead signed for the room. Mm-hmm. Was that guy also bringing drugs to you all, or just a crackhead?
Not him. He just went to the hotel.
Okay. Was there?
We know that guy, right? We all know who he's talking about there. Shadrach Nobles. Hey, Shadrach. Shout out. Believe it. We want to see you again. Hope you're well. Yeah, Katie, you know, they did bring Sigfredo in. We don't know what he said. He was in Tallahassee for a while. He's back in prison now. Jennifer Ray says Katie is the missing puzzle piece. She knows much more than she's admitting to. I tend to agree with that. She's holding back because she thinks her and Sigfredo have a chance at appeals. I believe she thinks they have a chance at appeals more than I believe some people who are saying she just needs Sigfredo's permission or blessing. I don't believe that for a second. She's not very submissive. And Jennifer says Charlie ran his mouth to Katie about everything. She needs to talk. Yeah. I hope you're right. It's ironic. I hope you're right. Oh, I hope you're right. Please.
Any other people?
I think we all just want this to be over, right?
Was there any other people you met that night?
That night, it was the next night. The next night,
okay.
I stayed there for 3 days.
Okay, I'm sorry, Jim. I just wanted to.
I stayed there for 3 days.
You're catching up.
Yeah.
It was the next day. We met a guy, and it was a gray blue Chevy photo. He was in the back trying to serve some people up. So we spotted him. I said, man, go ask that guy, well, bet you he got to go. So I was afraid. I asked him, man, what's up? Well, you can give me some coke? Yeah. Man, we needed 40 when we got it. We can't buy it for him. That same night, we were just hanging out. We were just doing coke, hanging out. When I came back, every time I came back, we meet up with this guy.
Every time you came back.
Every time.
How'd you meet up with him?
Sigfredo had his number. We found him one time driving when we came up here on the Prius. That day that he shot the fucking Prius, we seen him that same day, maybe half an hour before that happened. Boom, that's where we bumped into him. And we asked him, hey, what's up, man? We need some powder. And we'll follow him somewhere with some coke. He was with a group of people. He said, all right, let me go drop these people off, and then we'll go over there. As we followed him, that's when he shot the car, and we had that mechanical problem in the car.
Who shot the car?
Garcia.
We'll have to get to that. That's not the same day that you first got there, right?
No.
Let's try to. I know it's a lot.
That same night I was just up here scoping him out. We ain't do nothing. Came out here following him for 2 days. After that, like the Friday, we were gone. We was here from Wednesday to Friday the most. I was gone. That's it. I just came out here, scoped him out that week, see what he was about, where he go, what his routes. But every time he go to the daycare, I lose him because he just takes so long. So I'm like, man, this guy never comes back out. And then when I go drive back, the car was never there. So we ended up going back to the hotel and hanging out at a little party. We was out here partying. Then we'll do the same thing the next morning. We'll wake up and try to follow him all over again to the same daycare. That's all. We already knew where he lived. What was used in following this guy? I said, why you keep following this guy if you know where he lived?
You're in the passenger seat.
Yeah, I'm in the passenger seat at that time. You know, he was following him. I didn't drive the first night. That's it. That night was over. That's a done deal night. The night that I came up in the car, that's when everything happened. Okay. I drove.
Let's don't get to that yet. Hold on a second. We still need to get to that first trip. He tells you what it's about. He shows you this picture, and you're getting this information on the way up, and while you're already here, or he already has the full story, and he's double checking with her on the phone.
He told me the story already in my house. It was just me and him in the house by ourselves. He told me everything.
The guy.
Okay, so Luis is saying, and I don't think this really matters, but a lot of people are hung up on this. He says more than once, Sigfredo told him the story when they were at Luis's house. Okay, so yes, the princess is absolutely right. He had nightmares. I believe he has a stronger conscience than pretty much anybody so far that has been indicted, in my opinion.
Guy has 2 kids, and the woman wants the kids back. Does he say the woman's name then?
Not at all.
Okay. And does he say anything? Does he bring up Katie at all when you're at the house?
Yeah.
Down in Miami.
I asked him, who's fucking hiring me? He like, Katie told me this lady's gonna hire me. But I want you.
Katie told Sigfredo that this lady's going to hire them. So is Katie's proffer, or I don't know if we should call it a proffer or not, whatever that was. But who's telling the truth? Because he's saying Sigfredo said Katie said she was being hired by a woman. And we know by then Katie and Wendy had met. And he has been consistent, and that's why I'm honing in on this detail. So let's hear what he says.
Shooter go with me. And they weren't hiring me, they were hiring him.
Right.
So he's saying they hired Sigfredo, but Sigfredo told him, but I want you to go with me, his best friend, Luis.
Say, I'm gonna break you off. I give you 35 grand.
Okay.
I said, all right, for the drive. I said, all right, fuck it, I'll take the drive.
So you're just back up?
I'm just back up, just driving.
Okay.
That was the whole deal, I'm just driving.
So he's saying Katie is the person between the woman that wants this done.
Katie's the one in the middle doing everything. Put it like that.
Okay. And that's what he tells you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so then you hear her over the phone, because you don't meet with her before y'all leave.
I never met with her.
Okay. And you hear her over the phone, and you told Mr. Collins just now that you're sitting as close as you two were, and you can hear and recognize her voice.
Of course.
And she is saying specifically what? When he's talking to her, what? Just give me an idea what he's saying.
Oh, when he's talking, she like, yo, get up there quick. You know, make sure you do everything right. Don't do nothing stupid. Look at the house. You know, you got the paper. I know you have. Where he has the paper.
Where'd the paper come from?
Okay, I gotta hit pause because he's saying a lot. He's like dropping a lot of gems here. But Harley, come on. Yeah, don't be a tease. Come on, don't be a tease. What is it? Tell us. because I'm really open about. Harley, come on here. Do you want to come on here? I'll send you a link. Want to hear it? Actually, anyone who, I say this on every show, but anyone who wants to come on with me, you are welcome. And if you don't want to come live because you're worried, about your appearance or whatever, and you just want your voice to be heard in your little profile picture, we can do that as well. But you're welcome to. And I did invite Carla tonight, but she was busy, just so you know. Yeah, so come on, Carly, give it up. Get it up. You just said now we're good. You are with some tough women here. We want to hear it. Let's put the pressure on Harley while we listen.
I can't tell you what it is.
That's fine. That's part fine. If you can't tell us, that's
I
fine.
can't tell you. I know he had the paper. He showed me the papers. I don't know where the paper come from, but
and here's a point where I would like to just interject again that Luis is believable because he says, I'm not going to tell you when I don't know for sure. Okay. I asked him a question and he's like, yes. And then like, I'm not sure. I don't want to say it because he understands he needs to only tell them things that he knows for sure are factual or that he can stand behind. But if it's wishy-washy or if he's like got brain fog, he's going to say, nah, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to take that one back. And that makes him so believable. Okay, Chandra in the house. Love it. All right. Ironic. Luis had a driver's license as Sigfredo didn't. Well, how did he get a rental car then? So did Katie rent the car? Luis was illiterate. He couldn't read or write. I think he could read or write a very small amount. Sigfredo had the paperwork. Now we're talking about the first or second trip, but the first trip to Tallahassee, Sigfredo actually rented the car, and I believe that Katie helped him with that. What? Because I didn't. Luis did. We're listening to Luis's proffer. And we love you. Oh my gosh. Okay.
I'm just like I told you, it's black and white like that. But I can hear it saying, make sure everything gets done right. When you're done, call me. Boom. It was like maybe like a 2-3 seconds conversation. I'm up. He said, man, you ready? I said, man, I've been ready. Let's go. Let's ride. All right, we drove. We drove the whole time up there. He talked to her once, I guess she told him, don't be calling me so much.
She said
Just
that.
call me when you finish. She thought it was going to happen that same night that we went up there.
First trip.
The first trip. I didn't let that shit happen. I'm like, man, I ain't doing shit. I was still, like, what the fuck? I can't, my mind was like, for some kids, are we going to kill this guy for some fucking kids? Are you serious? Why can't she just get full custody?
Louis, were you high?
So this is really smart. Why are we doing this? There are children involved. Why can't she just get custody? He's asking all the right questions. He's like, why are we doing this again? It's really smart. But here's where his attorney jumps in with a question.
Hired by Garcia to do the job.
Yeah, Garcia paid me.
I know, but were you just a ride-along, or were you actually going to be the trigger man? I don't know why he paid you so much money for a ride.
I was just a ride-along. He goes, come with me, and then as we're going, at one point, he tells me, you should go in there and kill him.
So he's just a ride-along. He knows his friend. What I mean here is Sigfredo knows Luis, right? So Luis probably wouldn't have even gotten the car in the first place if he's saying you need to kill this guy. He's never murdered someone. He has children. He's like trying to wrap his mind around this whole thing. And this is a really good point. I totally agree. And I appreciate Luis so much. So he's conveying the feelings he had at the time, which is also what makes it more believable. He's not projecting out, because remember, let's not forget, this proffer that we're listening to was October of 2016. The murder was July of 2014. So it was more than 2 years later. And then the first trip was June of 2014. So just think about what that means in terms of how Luis is coming across. Right. And I think he could get by, and maybe even more. And I hope so. I hope he's taken advantage of his time in prison and all of the things that are offered to him.
Louis, if the truth is that
That's
you
true.
were
I
hired.
told you. I never changed my story.
Okay.
I told him the story.
Alright.
He asked me, you know what? You should go in there and kill him. You should go in there.
You should go kill him.
You know,
Why would he want you to go in and kill him?
um,
Does he believe you've killed people in the past?
that's what he thinks.
Have you ever killed anybody in the past?
Never in my life, sir.
You know you're under oath.
Yeah, never in my life. I put my hands up, never in my life I killed nobody.
Okay.
I don't beat people.
So why would he have you kill him? He didn't want. Neither one of them probably really wanted to do this. Obviously, Sigfredo was doing this for Katie because of their feelings.
People with bad shit with sticks and shit like that.
But you had mentioned before that the first trip was the intent that you were going to do the shooting.
Yeah. He thought I was gonna do shooting, but I want to have enough balls to fucking shoot somebody for some kids, man. So I didn't do it. So the whole
But maybe what about for $30,000?
I still wouldn't. I couldn't do it. I didn't even grab the gun. That's how crazy it is.
But you had the gun the first time. The gun came from you, or
Yeah, the gun came from me.
the first trip?
I gave him the gun. He grabbed it. He cleaned it up with alcohol, cleaned it up, and he holds it the whole time.
But the time on the first trip.
Oh, the first trip I had the gun in the hotel.
Right. The first trip, you supplied the gun.
Yeah, I supplied the gun.
Okay. The second trip, did you supply the gun?
It's the same gun.
The first, describe the gun the first trip. I'm not trying to confuse you. I'm confused.
Yeah, and it happened.
Okay.
It's a 38 Smith & Wesson short nose. The same gun we came up with. The same gun we came up the first time. We came up with two guns. I came up with two guns.
Yes.
Last time we were talking, I meant to tell you, but you had 20 minutes, and I told Chuck, man, I gotta tell him. I don't want to make no mistake.
Okay.
Came up with two guns. There's a blue steel, long nose, Taurus, and a 38.
Who had what?
There was two guns.
There were two guns.
No, both was in the car stash. You know what I'm saying? I said, I'm going to keep one because you never know what's going to happen. I really didn't trust her. I said, I don't know if he was going to fucking kill me. If he was a kid, this guy was going to kill me. So I was prepared for whatever.
You grew up with this kid. He's not going to kill you.
Man, you go kill somebody and then you drugged up, man, and then you shoot the fucking car.
Oh, well, that's true. He did shoot the car. So, all right.
Yeah.
Come on.
All right.
Shit.
Well, I forgot about that part. But
I mean, he shows some common sense at least. Okay, and TC says Sig also drugged worse than Luis, both impaired drivers. Yes. Yeah. Hi, Wendy. Is it odd that they only got $200 up front? He's saying they have $5,000. Luis has said here in his proffer he had $5,000. So, and yes, we have heard that the Adelsons hired someone prior to this who took the money and ran, basically, which is hilarious. Good for them. Whoever you are, I hope you made it work out for yourself. Like, take that 50. That's brilliant. Yeah. Hey. Yeah, we have compassion, but not for murderers. Oh yeah. The princess. Thank you, the princess, and hi and welcome. I don't recall meeting you before, so I'm glad you're here dropping some really good information. Yeah, so I thought that was weird in Charlie's trial where they're talking about $200, and I just sort of had a little laugh about that because first of all, we thought it was $5,000 or several $1,000s, depending on what version we heard, but it just seemed like doing it on the cheap. Come on, $200 wouldn't even give you gas, right? Would it? I I don't know, the price of gas is pretty high. I'm in Southern California, so. Oh, I didn't know that. He has a little girl with heart problems. Oh. I really hope he gets, I hope he's okay. I hope
Did he
everyone.
intentionally shoot you?
Maybe he'd be like, you know, I killed this guy. This guy might snitch on me. Boom, let me kill him too. Let me get him out the way and let me steal all the money.
I've seen that before. Okay. So the blue steel, long nose,
Long nose blue steels, it was Taurus.
Taurus 38,
And 38 Smith & Wesson was the black one.
short.
Short nose. That's the one.
Can we take a short break just for a second? And we're not going anywhere. I just want to go off the record for a second if we can. It's all right.
Yeah.
I'll have to.
What?
What do you mean?
Oh, okay. All right.
It,
No, it's okay. We don't need to. It's not that important. But
okay. So short nose, 38, Smith & Wesson. What color?
Black.
Okay. Both 38 caliber.
Actually, it's not off topic. I'm glad you brought this up, the princess, because some people are reporting that Luis like joined the Latin Kings. My understanding was that he was born into it, and he was born into this position, basically this higher position because of who his father was. I've never done any like further research into that, but that was my basic understanding from way back. And again, I've been following this case since really a long time. Okay, so yeah, that's true, the Prius, but this at this point they didn't have the Prius, they had the Nissan. Yeah, okay, but it's a long drive. That's a good point, Julia. They got the Prius because the Adelsons were so cheap, they didn't give enough money for gas. That's hilarious. I mean, think about it. I'm sorry, I find humor. I was thinking about this during the trial. Yeah, Katie said 200. Yeah, it's a family. That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. Okay.
Okay. You supplied both of these guns?
No. Just one.
No.
Which gun is
Okay,
being supplied?
right there. Okay, you guys,
Long nose, blue steel.
you supplied both these guns? No. So you can tell that he's not gonna just say yeah. You know, he's not. I think there are times, even with Katie, where you know you're under the influence of, you know, whether it's alcohol or medication or street drugs or whatever they're doing, that they can just say yeah, sure. Luis, I think sometimes does that. Very rarely he does that, and he might have done that a few times, which we noticed slip ups because we're watching this in great detail with magnifying glasses. But listen to his emphatic no, I did not supply both guns. Not, it wouldn't matter. This isn't the detail that would matter, but it just, again, it shows that he's being truthful, in my opinion. Okay, so trying to keep up with the chat, but Luis said it was 5,000, and that was my understanding all along. This trial brought this $200 up, and I was like, what? Okay, sure, whatever. We'll see.
Where'd he get it?
I don't know. That's his gun.
Okay. So that's his gun.
That was his
The
gun.
blue steel, long nose.
It's like, I don't know where he got the gun. That's his thing. I don't know. He's not going to make up details, which I appreciate.
He brought.
I support the short nose black 38.
The blue steel, long nose.
I agree.
Longer barrel.
He brought.
Taurus Garcia brought, and you don't know where he got it from. Okay.
is that a 9? The Taurus is a 9mm?
No, 38.
38.
Okay.
All right. You brought the 38 black short nose Smith & Wesson.
Thank you, Julia.
Where'd you get that gun?
From a neighborhood from Black Boy that I know.
A neighborhood black boy that you know?
Yeah.
What's his name?
I don't know his name.
How long before did you? How long did you get it before? When did you get it? A week before, the day before, the day of that you took the trip?
When he told me, he said he needed. When he told me, he said I needed a 38 revolver. Cause he showed
For
me,
sure.
He showed me the blue stem, and I said, "Big gun, what the hell? Shit, you trying to blow somebody's brain? Are you crazy?" He said, "Yeah, then find me a 38 small one." I said, "You know what? I think I know where to get one." because I remember somebody trying to sell one around the neighborhood. So when I seen a black boy on the trailer park, I said, man, what's up, man? You still got that gun for sale? He's like, yeah. I said, man, I give you $150 for it. So I gave him $150 and got the gun.
This was what day before you took the trip?
The day he told me. Yeah, when he went to go rent the car, I got it the same day. When he went to go rent the car, I said, by the time you come back, I should have it in my hand.
Okay, so this again is the first trip, not July. This is June. And he's saying that when Sigfredo went to rent the car that very day, Luis went out and got his gun that he got from the black boy, is how he described him on the corner. And he gave him $150. So again, I would have asked here, like, was that again your understanding that you were going to do a robbery or a hit job? Because at this point he said that Sigfredo had already told him the story. So it's just details that probably wouldn't make in the long run, they would come out in the wash, as they say, but you can tell by the questioning that Detective Isom and Sanford does at the end, what's important to them and what would be important, because they know, these detectives know what the prosecutors need, and they're not going to waste their time on details that aren't going to tip the scales.
Because when I picked it up, I had it on me. I was in Michelle's house drinking, and I called you. Like, when I got to my house, he said, man, you get that? I'm like, nah, I ain't get it. I was playing, I ain't get it. Fuck it. I'm saying, nah, I got it. I took it on the hill. When I give it to him, like, all right, you clean it, repeat that. I'm gonna clean it that way you don't have your fingerprints on it. He cleaned it with alcohol and bandana, and we took it. All right, we're going. He said, I said, you gonna take both of them? You only take both? Take one? He said, yeah, I take both. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, take both. So we took both of them up here.
You don't know the guy's name that you got the gun from?
No, we're just a neighborhood kid that he was studying, a young kid too. And it had to be real young, like 18, 19.
Does the gun come with bullets, or you had to go buy bullets?
No, I had to get bullets.
Where'd you get the bullets?
I think I have bullets already.
Where'd you get the bullets? So yeah, these guys are asking the questions. They don't come across as mouthpieces for the prosecutors. They're actually on the job, impromptu, asking the questions that come to their mind that are important and relevant to this case. This is an interesting comment. There's several here. I'm sorry. It's hard to keep up with the chat. Yeah. Okay, let me go back. So I'm pretty sure that's true statement, TC. She has to be. That's why I think that the prosecutors have been the state has been waiting for them to slip up like they did like Donna did. They obviously know these people. To do something that silly, to try and take off. She would have been indicted anyway. Maybe she was thinking, I'm going to be indicted anyway, I might as well just go for it. But that's probably not the wisest thing to do. I think Wendy's a little bit more measured than that, but she's got to be. She's not only losing her mind, but I think she's thinking of all of her options, like legal options, because so far she's been skirting and being very careful about how she answers questions and things like that. I had a fun, you want to hear my mind, you guys? Talk about being obsessed. Okay, so Wendy writes this crazy book. This is our story, or this is whatever that stupid book was. And the main character was Lily. And I was starting to think about the testimony that she gave when Georgia was pressing her on this book. And I'm thinking, is Lily Wendy's invisible friend? Is she going to like say I've got dual personalities. Like, wow. I mean, I started to really go off on this today. I must be obsessed. Okay. Julia says Wendy consult with a lawyer specializing in immunity issues. Yes, I predict Wendy is going down, and she also was very careful, but she wasn't truthful on the stand. Wendy hitting Donna's stash of oh, she did seem to have lost a little bit of weight since last year. Harvey and Wendy spend every waking hour thinking they are being recorded. Yeah, it cannot be fun. It cannot be fun. It cannot have been fun the last several years, but it, quite frankly, isn't enough. They need to be arrested. Yes, this is Isom, and he has his back to the camera. And so we basically see his back in the back of his head. So I kind of went over that in the beginning, but yeah. And so that's Luis. And then next to Luis, to his right, is his attorney, Chuck Taylor. And across from Chuck Taylor is Special Agent, FBI Special Agent Sanford. And then at the head of the table on the opposite side is Monica, who was the private investigator and mitigator who really got this deal, thankfully, for Luis. Mm-hmm. I would believe Luis before I would trust Katie 125,000%. Yes. Patrick. I was going to say Patrick, but yes, thank you. Yes. Isom and Sanford across from Chuck Taylor. And hi, Gory. No worries. You can play from the beginning. Let's keep going. I need to hold on one sec. So I was going to only do a half hour of this. I wonder if we got about 4 more minutes, but you can play from the beginning. Let's keep going.
Yeah. No, we went to the store. Matter of fact, I did. I went to the store. 117 on Biscayne. 117, 112 on Biscayne. That's a gun store. Went in there about the 30 years.
117 or 112?
Yeah, in between.
Oh, in between those two?
Between them two.
Okay.
I'm just giving you
Right.
like an address right around there on Biscayne.
What neighborhood?
Biscayne.
I understand.
Never mind.
Okay.
Everything about my hood.
Remember what kind of store?
A gun store. No, it's the only gun store right there. It's the only gun store. It's right, matter of fact, it's right next to where we rent the car at.
Where you rented which car?
The Prius.
Okay.
I rent the Prius. It's right next door to it. Maybe a little further down.
Who went to the gun store?
I work in there.
By yourself?
Yeah, because I used to box. And the shirt that I had on that says PL Police Department Boxing Gym. And I walked in there because I just came out the gym and had that shirt. Walked in there and they ain't even at me for ID. I said, yeah, I need some bullets. What you need? I said, nah, 38. Grab them and left.
He didn't go with you?
Oh, he was outside the car.
He's outside in the car.
Yeah, he's outside the car. He's
This was the day before, the day of your leaving?
the day before we left.
Tudo's outside in the car. He didn't go in the store.
He was in the back. He was in the back in the alley. I was in with Mercedes.
Has he got, you buy for him too, or he already had bullets?
I bought it for him. I bought it for me.
No, I know that. I mean, I'm saying you bought bullets for both guys, really.
Yeah, it was like 12 little bullets. There was 6 and 6 in each gun.
Right. But did you buy just 12?
Just 12.
You can buy individual 12 bullets.
Yeah, individual 12 bullets. You buy singles.
Okay. Like cigarettes. Okay.
This is funny because this is where Detective Isom is like, really, you have like a gun store that does that? Because it's totally not quite illegal. I think it's amusing and it's endearing.
You can go in there and buy them single because this is your type of single. Whatever you need. They're 15 for $20. You know, shit like that.
Interesting gun store.
These stores probably don't follow the rules, and they should have records of selling ammunition, shouldn't they? Maybe not.
They sell it to everybody, man. I don't give a fuck who you is.
This Tudo's, I mean, this is Lewis's neighborhood. He knows.
Anybody can walk in there and get it, man. They ain't gonna ask for no ID. I'm trying to ask for ID if you're trying to buy a gun. That's it.
Okay. So now the only thing that I feel like is lacking is the $5,000 that you brought up.
That they gave him? That's what you're talking about?
Did you give somebody $5,000?
If I get somebody $5,000,
They
yes.
gave you.
When I got paid,
Okay,
you first question.
okay, all right. You said 5,000 just a minute ago from Katie.
Coming up.
Oh no, when we're coming up this way, he had money. I said, yo, how much money you got? I think he's like $5,000. Like, Dan, I give you that much money to take a ride? Yeah, let's go. And then he gave me $500. He like, hold this, just in case I run out. I know he's gonna run out because he's gonna buy everything in cold. So I said, yeah, let me hold the money. Boom. We went up here. I'm telling you, right in this way, we stopped in a couple of stores, we put gas. I think $30 in gas, and then another 30. Came up here, we put more gas. Bought some drugs. We bought a bunch of little bottles. We're just hanging out. We're like partying the whole night. Rent the hotel. Get the guy $20. He bought like $100. They $200 worth of coke off that black guy. Just buying shit all day. I knew he would run out. The only thing I remember him having maybe $600 left in his pocket. All that money. Like, you have that much money left?
So basically, he's just saying Sigfredo just burned through all but $600 of $5,000 that they came up there with, and he never does use Shadrick Noble's name. He just refers to him as that black guy, which is interesting. I don't know how they tracked him down to testify. I know he didn't testify. We've all wanted him to see him again and hope he's well, but it's kind of weird. He's like, he just blew through all this money. What's the point? Like, well, it's just crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. How much drugs, how much alcohol, like they're buying these little bottles. They're not thinking about how much money they're spending. It's so stupid. It's just beyond stupid. And the stupidity, I think, is what in contrast to what Dan Markel was about and trying to accomplish in his life, in his legal career, in his education of lawyers, of future lawyers. It's just like mind-boggling what happened. And yeah, she was totally using WhatsApp and another phone. There's no question about it. And so much time passed. So TC says, Shadrick said Luis was the scary one. If I remember correctly, that kind of makes sense that Luis laid in bed, not saying a word, and Sigfredo was more friendly. Yes, I remember him saying that. He was partying on with Sigfredo, and Luis was like, I'm not so sure about this. I feel like Luis was, just the whole thing was not really, he wasn't sure what he was even doing there. He went along with it, but he questioned it for sure. Yeah. So, for sure. All right, we're almost to the half hour on this trip.
So this first trip, do you know where the $5,000 came from?
Katie gave it.
Boom.
You said that?
Yeah, I'm like, who gave you the money? Like, my wife gave me the money because the other lady gave her the money to give to him. Like,
boom. Kate gave him the money. Who gave her the money? The lady gave. Okay. Now a lot of people are insisting this is Donna. Some are saying Wendy. Let's see.
This is just to let you know that I'm real. Like I'm honest about what I'm gonna give you. Like saying, I'm good out. Then the next trip is when he had like $2,000, and he gave me $200 out of that shit. Kept it in my pocket.
So the next trip, he got another $2,000. So there's $7,000 in traveling expenses.
Right now, and how to use my $200
between the two. Luis probably still has some money left over from his $200.
Okay. So we know we're coming up on that first trip. It might be hard to think back, but how many cell phones did y'all have?
I always kept my two. I have two phones.
You had two phones that first trip you came up?
Yeah, always. First trip, second trip, my whole fucking life.
Okay. Do you remember what the numbers were on the first two phones?
On my phone. Jessica don't know. She gotta have it. I don't know if it was 290. I can't remember the number. Jessica don't know. She'll know. She probably has it in the phone. I don't remember the number.
Okay.
But I know he had a throwaway phone.
Just one?
Yeah, he had one phone. He had a throwaway phone.
How did he communicate with
Katie,
Katie?
with her phone.
Did he call her straight up on the number? Did he have any apps he was using? Did he have anything
I'm
special?
referring, I think they both had throwaways. You know, I don't know what phone she had, but I know the second trip, I remember her calling her from her, using her phone, because I know her. I know her number. So I remember that. But the first trip, I think they had throwaways. I know for sure you had a little black phone.
How would you see or come into knowledge of her number if she wasn't calling you? How would you know that her number would call on the second trip if she wasn't calling you?
The second trip, no, she ain't calling me, she calling him.
All right.
But I can hear her voice. I know Katie's voice. I hear her voice. And it's, you know, but the phone wouldn't have no names on it. So when she called, you can see the number.
And you saw it.
Yeah, I seen Katie's number. I know Katie's number by heart. I just remember. I was thinking about her number that last night. I can't think about the numbers and shit.
Do you remember it now?
I think the last phone number was 1612. 5-something, 1612, something around there. That's her number. But I know Katie's voice. You know, I'm 100% sure she was in this the whole time, and I know because I heard her voice, and she gave Garcia the money to come up here, and she called me after the murder the next day. Where's Garcia? Did y'all want the money? Find that nigga. I asked somebody else to go pick them up. He ought to go pick them up for me. And that's under the truth. I ain't gonna say fucking lie and bullshit none of y'all. I don't got here saying lie about nothing. If I want to talk, I just want straight try and like, fuck everything. I don't want to do the truth.
That's it.
Okay, I think this is a good stopping point until Friday night, so we can keep going on Friday because this is where we start transitioning to the next trip. So Judy says, Charlie going to be scared now, blaming on Latin Kings. Yeah, but Luis did not appreciate that because it actually puts him at more risk because it wasn't about the Latin Kings as they tried to, I mean, Charlie's defense was all or nothing. Like if it turned belly up, which it of course did, he just kind of gave himself up for life. That was it. Like, and his family, which now we're seeing the fruits of that. TC says for Jeff, Luis, other key witnesses' sake, I do wish they could try the remaining of Adelson's all together. I've been saying this all along. I agree, but I know complex decision, witness fatigue, attrition, not the only factor. I hope they can do at least Harvey and Donna together, but they should be able to do the last three together. Just scoop them up. I would think. Yeah. For anyone hopping on to this live stream, evidently few people, thank you for joining us. So we do have, I put the link in the comments here in the chat, and it's also in the it's like everywhere, but there is an unedited full stop version of the 1 hour and 52 minute proffer without any chat, but we're here to chat tonight. So just go on over to that link if you don't want to hear the chat. That's cool. I get it. All right. It has to be taxing. It's expensive for the state at some point, and it's been so many years. Come on. Although I love seeing, I don't know if you guys saw the chart. The more that indictments are happening, the closer they're becoming. So it's happening faster now. And we saw that with this last guilty verdict and then an indictment a week later. So I'm hopeful. I know it's silly. I know I'm very optimistic, but yeah, some people come here for the chat. Some people just watch. So I have both versions. It's all good. All good. But yeah, a lot of people, thank you, Tennis Girl. And I try. And you know, a lot of people just like pump, like YouTube shows them the video and they don't know the whole background. So that's cool too. I get it. I get it. Sometimes I don't want to hear from certain people too. So that's why I provide the link. And I'm doing a lot shorts for days on not only mother-in-law jokes, but little excerpts from this proffer, because it's so powerful. It's so powerful. It was done in 2016, but it's really the basis for for all of the indictments that came from that date. So yeah, okay. Thank you for joining us, everyone. And I'll be back Friday for the next half hour. It's a half hour there. It's like an hour and a half with us. But yeah, so thank you. Thank you for joining us. Corey Book says FBI seized Harvey's phone from the house the day after Donna was arrested. So that's exciting. Oh, cool. That must have been fun for him. Oh, all right. All right. Hey, you guys, you make it fun. I'm glad you're here. And if you joined us late, go ahead and replay. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm going to show the extra. And then from that, we'll wish you a good night. We'll see you on Friday.